Morning, my name is Andrew Morgan. I'm chair of the 7th Circuit JNC. We're here conducting interviews for county court, and you have applied, so if you could start by introducing yourself to the commission and telling us why you want to be a county court judge.
Sure. Good morning. My name is Rachel Myers. This is the first time I've had the opportunity to appear before you in person. In 2020, I did apply for the Logan County Court position, and that was via Zoom. So I'm very happy to be here in the flesh and meet with all of you this morning. I am interested specifically in the Volusia County Court bench because I am as you know from my application, a lifetime resident of Volusia County, a sixth-generation Volusia resident. I love this county. I think I can serve best my fellow citizens as a county court judge, and I look forward to that opportunity. I have served this community in many different ways over the last 2 decades as a resident here. I come from a family of service members, service people in our community, different capacities. Not necessarily the legal capacity, so I've sort of taken that path myself, even though my father is a judge up in Virginia, and in Volusia County specifically. My family has served in many different ways. And I look forward to the opportunity to continue serving. And I believe that my experience, although limited, I have been practicing for just over 10 years now, sort of puts me in that junior seat, I guess, if you will, in your roster today. But I don't think that limits me in what I've been able to accomplish thus far and what I plan to accomplish moving forward, hopefully as a sitting judge. I think that this commission is committed to the stability of the bench. I think that Volusia County and the 7th Circuit as a whole really values that, and I think the opportunity to commit to this position for the long term is something I'm really ready and willing to do, and I hope to be able to prove that to the community. Thank you for having me this morning. Just before lunch.
Ms. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Myers, can you tell us a little bit about your diversity of practice and how that would translate to a good fit for this particular position?
Absolutely, thank you. Well, the county court is diversity of practice, isn't it? It's really a hodgepodge of anything that kind of walks through the door. You never know what you're going to get. Even if you're seated in a particular division, you're dealing with lots of different kinds of people all the time, right? And a lot of times pro se litigants, things like that. So my practice has been over the last, like I said, just over 10 years. First half was as a prosecutor. I love that work. I anticipated it eventually being a lifetime prosecutor. My dad was. That's just some really phenomenal work that people do in that agency. And then I jumped out. I took an opportunity that was afforded to me, and I became an associate at one of the most prestigious firms in Volusia County. Right, we're a small county, but it is a long-term firm, Lancaster & French, where for almost 2 years I worked as an associate there on. Well, as you know, as an associate, as anything that they needed me to work on. So a lot of civil litigation, interesting property law cases, things I wouldn't have otherwise been exposed to ever. And then from there, I really realized that I wanted to help families and children. So I jumped into my own practice in 2016, and I've been had my own firm. It's grown since from myself and a laptop to now I have 14 members, an associate myself, and a new office, things like that. So bigger, not new. And I primarily focus on family law. I still take a lot of that old other cases in that I know how to handle and I know what to do, but I do enjoy working those specific cases, and I did a lot of dependency work. The last 4 years I was on the dependency team in the DeLeon courthouse. So I've seen people in all different times in their lives, primarily in chaos. And I think that's what the legal system offers its remedies for, right? People, what they're going through, sometimes the worst possible moments in their lives. Even if it's over a small claim, right? That can be detrimental to a family. It can be overwhelmingly stressful to an individual. So to work with people at their worst, essentially, is what I've been doing for the last 10.5 years in various ways, but specifically recently through the dependency docket and family, private family practice.
Talk to me a little bit
And I
about...
know that you have quite a bit of community involvement. Sorry, can't hear anybody else.
No, you're fine.
Does that answer?
You just stole my question, by
That's
the
what I
way.
was So, Ms. Myers, I did vet you, and it was very important impressed with your community involvement, your diversity of practice. I think those are all positive. Can you tell us about your Foresight Inc. Nonprofit, and also tell us about any of your other community involvement that you would like to highlight?
Sure, thank you very much. Foresight is probably the thing I'd like to highlight most. It's a foundation I started in 2010. I was diagnosed with Stargardt's disease in 2003 in my late teens. And so it renders me legally blind. I have low vision. I am a person with disability. It's called incorrectable. I've been in this courtroom, thank goodness, before, so I kind of just beelined it for the chair, but otherwise I do need visual aids to complete regular day-to-day tasks. If you're familiar with macular degeneration, it's similar in that respect. So I have no central vision, and my peripheral vision is about 2400. So legally blind is where I stand. So to represent the legally blind and visually impaired community, especially in Volusia County, has been a great honor. We do have the Division of Blind Services here, if you're even familiar with that. One of the 3 vocational rehab facilities in the state is right here in Daytona Beach. So I started the foundation that provides private scholarships to students in high school and college that are seeking higher education, right? Foresight, SITES standing for seeking independence through education. And it's a private scholarship. It's not needs-based. It's only based on what the individual is doing as a low vision or visually impaired person and how they're improving their lives through education. So I have been able to give over $10,000 so far away in private scholarships to individuals that apply and are qualified. So it's a great honor to do that and give back to that specific community. Translating to the bench, it would be an honor to represent the physically impaired community. It's different, right? And there's probably some questions and concerns, but it hasn't stopped me so far. So something I enjoy doing is improving that community and helping that community. And I've done some work with Division of Blind Services, but mostly the ability to lead and run Foresight every year is a pleasure. Other community involvement shifts typically so I try to balance myself through involvement with the local bar and with the local community. I think that's important because you can get caught up in sometimes just focusing on your legal practice or your profession, but I've enjoyed local community organizations as well. Hopefully equally balancing my time from the two, and those are pretty focused on service, right? So the service league or the various organizations on my application. I know you've edited it, so I won't bore you, but feeding homeless, things like that in my community I think are important and have nothing really to do with the practice of law, but also being able to balance that time with serving on the boards for the local Volusia County Bar or for the Volusia Flagler Association of Women Lawyers. Things like that I find important to sort of stay connected with the roots of my community, but also the up-and-comings of my professional practice.
Any other
Ms.
questions?
Myers, I was impressed with your bar involvement, your community involvement, your pro bono involvement. And do you think that community outreach will be of a benefit to you should the time come when you need to run for election as judge?
Thank you for that question. I am not scared of an election. I prefer this nomination process, but our community offers both, right? So should it come to be where I would have to enter into an election, I would certainly agree that my community involvement, and I'll take it, right, my familial involvement in the community for generations now would definitely bode as a huge benefit to me in an election process. And I don't fear lack of support from my community should that be needed.
Any other questions? Well, thank you so much for coming in today.
Absolutely.
Let me just double check. At the end of the day, we'll call you.
Okay.
And I want to make sure the number ending in 24 is a good number.
Yes, sir. Okay.
All right,
You're it.
thank you, take care.
Thank you.